everyone, I just wanted to do a quick video where I talk to you about my last Lotus Birth experience and how it didn't go exactly to plan. Basically, with my last Lotus Birth, I wanted to see how it would go without using any herbs or salt or putting anything on the placenta, and essentially that went good. The placenta, it didn't smell bad. It has a slight smell that I discussed before in one of my previous videos, but it didn't smell super bad or anything. The only problem was for me, after the cord detached, I wanted to do like I did on my previous Lotus Birth, which was let the placenta dry out and then keep the placenta. Now, when I had my second Lotus Birth, it was in the summer. My first Lotus Birth was in the winter, and in the winter you don't get there wasn't really any flies or anything around. So with this second Lotus Birth was more summertime, and so there's a lot of flies and stuff around, and the problem was with air drying it without any herbs or any salt on, it was more appealing to flies. So when I put it in the window to leave it to naturally dry out like I had the previous time, the flies got to it, and then some maggots then got to it. And I was completely devastated. I was hormonal from just having given birth and from breastfeeding, and you feel really attached to it after going through Lotus Birth. So I was really upset. But I mean, I did manage to save it. What I basically did was I drowned the thing in salt, and then I sealed it up in a bag, and I just left it in the garage for a few days. And then when I got it back out, the salt had killed them all off, and I just cleaned all the salt off. I washed the whole thing off again, and then I recovered it in salt and then left it in the window to carry on drying, and then I had no more problems. It wasn't attracting the flies anymore. It didn't have any more of the maggots on it. It was all gone, and I was able to finish letting it dry out, and now I still have it and it's fine. But it was a really unpleasant experience. I wouldn't want the same thing to happen to anyone else. So although it did go well without putting anything on, certainly if you're planning to let it dry out naturally, I would definitely recommend using the salt, because the flies won't go near it when it's covered in salt. The herbs also do help with that, but I think the salt alone is actually enough. I don't really want you wasting your money. I hadn't really wanted to use the salt because when you plant, if you want to plant it afterwards, salt is often bad for most plants, and so if you want to plant it, then it's not necessarily going to be the best. You could maybe wash it off before you plant it. But yeah, I mean, that's what I did because I wanted to save it. Now, my recommendation, I think, would actually now be, or shall I say what I would plan to do in the future is like I did the first time. So I would leave it for 24 hours without anything on it, and then I'll put the herbs and the salt like I recommended in my other video on it, and then do that for the rest of the time. If you want to leave it for 2, maybe 3 days, then I think that's fine, even, especially in the winter when there's less flies around. But I think if your Lotus, because I mean my Lotus Births, one was just under 3 days, I think the other one was just under 4 days. Now I've heard that some can go on for a week, 10 days, even as much as 2 weeks in very rare situations. Now, if there's a chance your Lotus Birth could go on that long, I definitely, personally, from my experience, would recommend that you use the herbs and the salt. Because I think without that, I think you could have some issues with, possibly have some issues with flies or something, or attracting some other kind of insect. With the salt, if you don't, and I think if you don't, I have been asked this, if you have to use the other herbs. No, I don't think you have to use the other herbs. You can definitely just go with salt, cover it in salt. And yeah, I mean, if you want, you could just do salt, and then you could even pick some nice smelling flowers if we have some around, and put that on it to give it a nicer smell, or to make it just look prettier. But again, that's not necessary. So I mean, it's nice to put all the different herbs on, and that's probably what I do in the future. You don't need a lot. That's something else I've been asked, how much. I ordered way too much. I ordered 2 big things of Himalayan pink salt for my first one, and then I ordered a big thing of the different types of herbs, and I wasn't even close to using them all. No, I mean, I only touched 1 bag of salt, and then with all the other herbs I only used a small amount of them. So you don't need a huge amount if you think you're not going to use them again in the future. I mean, all these herbs have and nice smelling flowers have other uses. If you don't think you're going to use it again in the future, then personally I'd just get a very small amount. But to be honest, all these herbs also can be used for a good bath soak afterwards. You know, a lot of people, they like to do the nice baths with the herbs in after they have their baby. So after you've done with the herbs for the Lotus Birth, you can always use the herbs and the salt in your bath. You can boil them up, strain it, and put that in your bath, and it will give you a really good soak. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say today. Let you know about my experience where things didn't go quite to plan. But I mean, I managed to save it in the end, but I just don't want the same thing happening to one of you guys. So yeah, so that's basically all I had to say on the topic. I've got a few more questions I need to answer. Some people have asked me, so I'm going to try and make another video real soon and answer those. And if you have any more questions, then please just ask, and I will make sure I include those in that video. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Yeah.